Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So in today's video I'll be showing you how to make this really simple and quick rosebud hook bag. So for this project you're going to need 3 different kinds of coloured yarn. I'm going to be using white Aran yarn, this is the Signet Aran yarn. For the rose and for the green like stem I'm going to be using just double knit yarn. This is just red double knit yarn and this is just dark green double knit yarn. And then I'm going to be using some scissors. You need a sewing needle, preferably one with a large eye because we're going to want to get some thick yarn through the needle. And then a stitch marker, and then today I'm going to be using a 3.5mm hook. So we're going to be starting with the main part of the case, so you're going to want to take your main colour. For me that is the white yarn, and I'm going to start off with a slip knot. And then I'm going to be making a chain of 12 plus 1 for the turning chain. And plus 1. And then we're going to be working in the back bumps of the chain. So you're going to want to flip your chain over like this and you should see those back bumps. And we're going to make 1/2 double crochet into that second back bump. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that second back bump from the hook, like that, and then I'm going to make my 1/2 double crochet. Okay, and then I'm going to make 1/2 double crochet into each stitch all the way across, and into that very last back bump I'm going to make 3 1/2 double crochets. So I'm just going to start with 1 into each stitch and I'm going to stop right before that last one to make the 3 in the very last stitch. Okay, so I've now reached that very last back bump. I'm going to make 3 1/2 double crochets into that back bump. Like so. And I'm just going to place my stitch marker into that very first 1/2 double crochet that we made, just to mark it there and so it doesn't get confusing. Like that. So now I'm going to be turning the work around and we're going to be working on the opposite side, and I'm just going to make 1/2 double crochet into each stitch, and then when I get to the very last stitch I'm going to make 2 1/2 double crochets in there. Okay, so I'm making 2 into that very last stitch, and this stitch right here is that turning chain, so you're just going to want to ignore that and make 2 into that final stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch back into that first 1/2 double crochet that we made. Okay, so that is the end of round 1. I'm going to replace the stitch marker after we start the next stitch. So for the next round I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to make 1/2 double crochet into the exact same stitch like this. Okay, and that is the first stitch of the next round, and I'm going to place my stitch marker in that 1/2 double crochet, and then I'm just going to make 1/2 double crochet into every single stitch all the way around, and once I get to that very last stitch after I make my 1/2 double crochet I will slip stitch back into that first stitch that we made. Okay, so I've just reached the end of the round. As you can see here, there's the slip stitch, the chain 1, and then the first 1/2 double crochet that we made. So I'm just going to slip stitch into that first 1/2 double crochet, like that, to finish the round. And then you're just going to want to repeat round 2 until you reach the desired height of your bag. So just as a recap, I'm going to chain 1, make a 1/2 double crochet into the same stitch, and then replace the stitch marker in that stitch. And then I will continue to make 1/2 double crochet all the way around, and I will stop once I reach the slip stitch that we made right here, and I will just make a slip stitch into that first 1/2 double crochet that we made, and then just continue to make rows and rows and rows of 1/2 double crochet until you reach the desired height of your bag. Okay, so I just finished my last row. I did 21 rows in total. So we're now going to be working on like the frill edge. So to start the next round, we're going to chain 1. So we're going to start with a half double crochet into the same stitch, and then I'm going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch, and then I'm going to chain 2, and then slip stitch into the same stitch, and then I'm going to chain 3, and slip stitch into the same stitch, and then chain 2 and slip stitch into the same stitch. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So I make a half double crochet into the next stitch, and then into the following stitch I'm going to make a slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, and then repeat the sequence. So slip stitch, chain 2 and a slip stitch into the same stitch, chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch, chain 2 and slip stitch into the same stitch. Okay, so you're basically just going to want to repeat the half double crochet and then the chain cluster into the next stitch. So I will meet you back when I have reached the other side, and then I will show you how to fasten off. Okay, so I'm now back at the first stitch, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch back into that first half double crochet that we made. Like that. And then I'm just going to chain 1 and fasten off. Okay, and then I'm just going to weave this end in onto the inside of the bag. Okay, so we're now going to be working on the roses. You're going to want to make 2 roses. So I'm going to take my red yarn, and I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to make a chain of 20 plus 1 for the turning chain. So we are now going to be repeating the same sequence all the way across. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then I'm going to make 1 treble crochet into the next 2 chains. So we'll do yarn over twice, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then I'm going to repeat that into the next chain. Okay, and then into the 4th chain I'm going to make a single crochet, and then I'm going to repeat that sequence again. So I'm going to make a single crochet, and then I'm going to make 2 treble crochets and then a single crochet. So single crochet into the next chain, 1 treble into the next chain, another treble into the next chain, and then a single crochet into the next chain. So I'm going to repeat that sequence all the way across until I reach the very last stitch. Okay, so I've just made my last single crochet, so you should have 5 of these like humps going across, and then all you're going to do is chain 1, and you're going to leave a tail long enough for sewing, and I'm just going to cut that short tail, just a little bit of it off, just so that we can just tuck it away later on. So you'll want to make sure that your work is on the right side out, and then all I'm going to do is basically roll the work all the way to the end. I'm going to roll it quite tightly, just zoom you in a bit so you can see. So I'm literally just going to tightly roll the work all the way down. Okay, so you should have the work all rolled up like this. You're going to kind of want to hold it firmly so that you can keep it all together, and then you're just going to want to place the needle onto the tail, and then you're basically just going to sew through either side back and forth so that you can kind of grab all the sides together to secure it. Okay, and then you're just going to want to create a little knot in one of the spaces, and then just tuck it away and then cut the yarn. Okay, so that's what it should be looking like, and now I'm going to move on to the stems. Remember, you're going to want to make another one of these roses, so I will come back when I've made a second rose and then I'll show you how to make the stems. Okay, so we're now going to be working on the stems, which are also going to be like the ties. So you're going to want to grab your green yarn and make a slip knot, and then you're going to want to make a chain of 48. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut the yarn and then pull that through. So you should have kind of like a little string, and then you're going to want to take your sewing needle and place like one end of the string through. Okay, and then you're going to want to start in one side of the bag, and I'm just going to be going through like these frill areas up here. So I'm just going to start in this gap at the side here and just pull through, and then I'm going to like leave one string out, and then I'm going to sew around using the other side of the string. Okay, and then I'm just basically going to weave all the way around, so I'm going kind of into the back and pulling through, and then into the front, then pulling through, and again to the back, through to the front, and then back through. I'm just going all the way around into like these little gaps. And I'm just going back through the same section that we started in, and you just want to kind of pull them to make it a little bit more like equal on both sides. Okay, so you're now going to want to grab one of your roses and make sure that you have like the top of the rose facing out, and you're going to be sewing around the bottom of the rose. So you're just going to take one of the pieces of string and place it on the needle, and then again make sure that your rose, the top of it is facing outwards, and you're just going to go through the bottom of the rose like this and pull through. Okay, like that, and then I'm just going to do the exact same thing for the other side. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie the two strings together, so just these short like tail pieces. So I'm going to do like the first one not too tight, and then the second knot I'm going to make much tighter. Okay, so I'm now going to take a smaller hook and I'm just going to weave these green ends in. So I'm going to kind of go into the side of the rose and push the hook through, and then I'm going to wrap the tails around and then pull the green tails through, just being really careful like that, and then I'm just going to cut them. I'm going to kind of pull tight on the string and then cut them so that they go back into the rose like that, and then you can kind of just poke the tail down so that you can't see it, like that. Okay, so that is how you attach the rose to the string. I'm going to make a second green stem, and I'm going to weave it through the exact same way. This time I'm going to be starting on this side, going around, and then meeting the string at the part where we attached it, and then I will be tying the ends to kind of the bottom of the rose and then just weaving those ends in like before. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and if you have any ideas of what you'd like me to make next, then feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.